if you were going to be in Hollywood sometime soon, you would be on my show. Yo, I randomly think about lines from Martin like all the time, and that was just the one that was on my mind today. It was on my spirit today because Varnell was talking that shit to Martin, yo. Like he was barring Martin ass up. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we love Tommy Davidson so much, because that episode, those 2 episodes, it was just like we so used to Martin just being like the man. That's Martin's brand, is the man. But then when you got him coming through, he done smacked him and broke the bottle and cut the rip. Like, it was just phenomenal. Phenomenal television. Shout out to Martin. This is episode 2 of All for the Love. It's me, back again. It's Mari. Shout out to my producer, the best producer, Bethany. Shout out to Bethany. She's responsible for all of this crisp audio, the good video, all of it. You know what I mean? Just give the credit to her. Direct all the compliments to her. Whenever you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, whatever. Just direct all compliments to Bethany, please, and thank you. I want to start this episode off by reflecting on a great era, right? Some of you might have been there, some maybe you weren't. I'm talking about the Limewire, the Kazaa, all of that type of time, right? Like when we were downloading full albums, one song at a time, praying that it wasn't just the best of both worlds intro on repeat, and not even the whole song, just a little snippet of the intro just on repeat for 9 minutes, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was all, Lil Wayne freestyle, Lloyd Banks freestyle, Cassidy freestyle, and there was none of those guys. None of them. It might have been Phillip Banks on there. It might have been Carlton Banks on there. But it wasn't Lloyd. Tell you that. I done had a couple of those times where I done download that freestyle and go back to check the files, and I'm like, hold on now. What we doing? It turned all of us into DJs, really. We were putting together mixtapes. You might even name your mixtape something. Mine was called What's Really Good. And we used to make so many mixtapes and all that. We started having battles on the block where it was like, yo, I'm gonna come outside, bring my best 14 songs. You bring yours, not me. Because it's at my crib and I'm, maybe 14 at the time, 13, 14. I'm staying up all night. I got all type of unreleased Dipset, all type of shit. I might have snuck an M Holla verse on one of them. I don't know. I got to go back and check the files. I got to see. But it was just a great era, and I'm always so thankful for that era. And I'm also thankful for DatPiff. Not just DatPiff, but like DatPiff, the platform, because DatPiff held us down for years and they continue to hold us down. Where else can you go just pull up Dedication 2, play that? The interface has gotten a lot better over the years with the mobile app. The website never let me down. You had like work to do. You might have been taking classes or something. You got work to do. You open that up in another browser. I'm listening to the best of stack bundles while I'm being productive and stuff like that. So shout out to DatPiff. Their longevity is incredible because right now they are a very viable streaming platform. When new albums drop, you can stream them on DatPiff the day that they drop. It's a real, it's an actual thing. It's real. So shout out to DatPiff, man. Things like that just remind me of that time. Take me back to the essence and all that, I gotta give credit where it's due, Speaking of giving credit where credit is due, shout out to GlorRilla. Shout out to Yo Gotti, CMG. The label is doing amazing things. They got Doug over there. You got ESTG over there, Father Fentanyl and all that. Mozzie, And obviously you got GlorRilla. GlorRilla is a superstar in the making. I think she's a legitimate star right now. And I'm going to say this. GlorRilla is Coco Melon for ratchet women. Specifically, the song F&F. You pay attention. It's not just the production, which is stellar, by the way. It's not just what she's saying, because she's talking that shit. But it's one thing that get them going every time. It's that, let's go. That's it. You gonna see the double fist pump up. Drinks gonna start spilling. You gonna start hearing hey and all that. You gonna hear all of that immediately. This is exactly what it is. Listen, go clip that. Pull up on your ladies and her friends, or just pull up to a random brunch setting and just play that. Record the reaction. Let's just see how it is. Remember that Dave Chappelle skit? But it was playing the music, and it's the real upper echelon lunch and all that. Yeah, you get in there and get to playing them instruments. They flip that whole place upside down. I mean, that's just how it is. GlorRilla she's unique because she's not the typical, I'm gonna rap about like this lavish stuff and whatever. But like she gonna talk some slick talk in there. But she's really just like, yo, it is what it is with me. Shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies. They got her in the promo video right now. I love the fact that they're embracing hip hop culture in a real way, not just by having Ja on the team. We know what Ja do. You know what I'm saying? Surprised Ja ain't signed to CMG yet. Wait for it. But shout out to them for embracing GlorRilla, hometown hero. I'm going to just say this right now. She's one of my favorite rappers. And I don't do the whole female rap. No, just like one of my favorite rappers, period. Like I'm listening to GlorRilla on the regular. Some of the lyrics I can't just be rapping like that because I still got, morals and values and stuff like that. I can't just be saying stuff for all William Million. You know what I'm saying? All Will Nil. But listen, she talking that shit. Now, if I'm driving by myself, I'm probably in there yelling that let's go too. I'm going to just keep it 100. It's just one of them. It's just one of those songs, man. She got the joint with Cardi, Tomorrow Part 2. Cardi went on there and smoked that. Like, let's stop playing games. She smoked it. And I think it's a great look. Shout out to Cardi. It's a great look for Cardi to, the same thing I said about Future. Future embraces all the new acts, the young guys. He makes sure that when these guys come in, they extend their olive branch, and it's like, okay, cool. The line of communication is there now. So now when Future starts to go off and do his own thing and he want to chill, he can pop back in when he want because all the young guys love him. And I think that's what Cardi is doing right now. She's really embracing this new wave of, women who rapping and they on their shit. And, she's hopping on the songs and she like, yo, let's do it. And these just a hits. So shout out to GlorRilla. I love her. Keep doing your thing. I'm here to support. I want to go see her concert, all of that. I'm here for all of that. Like, sign me all the way up. Her voice too. Let me touch on that for 1 second, right? I'm gonna leave that alone. It was a joke to be made there, but leave it alone. Her voice is special because some videos resurfaced of how she sounded before and all of that, and it's like now she sounds a little different, which I think is a great thing because your voice is another instrument. It's another part of who you are, and her voice stands out. You can tell, like, yeah, that's her. You can tell. 100%. Ain't no hiding that. Ain't no masking that. And it's a beautiful thing because all of the women with the good deep voices that was, felt like they would, had the black cloud over them and all that, they back. Personally, I think they never went anywhere, but now they back for sure. You can't even deny it now. Like, it's just what it is. 'Tis the season, Shout out to GlorRilla, man. On another note, I've been seeing this conversation on social media, right, about ghosting, which it isn't a new thing. It isn't a new concept. But I've been seeing people kind of call ghosting some form of, like, clear communication. And I want to talk about that for a second. Because there's a big difference between sending a clear message and clear communication. Now, ghosting is a clear message. That message is either you don't think high enough for that person to give them an explanation, or you can't articulate what you want to say at all. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to just drop this shit and just run away. Now, that's a clear message. Clear communication would be, hey, I don't think this is working. Here's why. Let's talk about this. Let's try to figure out this. Now, if you're going to it with the intentions of fixing this or just letting this person know, hey, this is why it's not going to work out, you're setting the table for communication to happen. Communication is I express a thought, You process it, you express a thought, I process it. We do this until we reach some sort of understanding about it. But there's no way ghosting is clear communication. What's happening right now, though, is there are a lot of people who are terrible at communicating, and they're pumping this up because they don't want to feel like they're outcasted for not being able to express themselves. So now they're like, ghosting is I'm with that. No. And I'm not shitting on people who, if you decide to ghost, what I'm saying is maybe you need to explore what the people who you call like quote unquote emo or whatever, maybe you need to explore what it is that they go through when they start to tell you how they feel and really see what that does for them. See what the payoff is, like the personal payoff and getting your feelings out there. Now I know we're in an era where a lot of people don't want to get hurt because they go into situations thinking that everybody has a hidden agenda. Some people do. But that's no excuse to live your life on defense forever. If you do that, you're cheating yourself out of reaching your full potential, and then you're cheating the people around you out of getting the best of you, what really makes you you. And that's what sets us apart, the way we process things, the way we deal with things, the way we handle them, the way we express ourselves. Ghosting is just one of those things that I feel like it's such a better way to do this. Such a better way to do it, especially in the era of social media, man. You want to get rid of somebody and you want them to really figure out what it is about. Start sending them like bad music recommendations. Just don't ghost them. Do something. Like just do that at least. So that they can make them out and be like, you know what, I'm cool on him. He sent me a song by this cool. I'm done with him. Don't ghost him, man. Don't just because what you gonna do? Visibility is an all-time high right now. There's 9 different apps you on. Your face is on all of them. You just gonna dub them and just turn the comments off, block them, and do all of that? Like, nah, come on, man. Had a conversation, get to some kind of solution. But ghosting is not at all. There's no possible way. Like, you can tell me that ghosting is clear communication. It's just not. It's one-sided. You're doing all of the. I kind of want to say, not even really heavy lifting at all. You're doing none of the lifting. You're like, I'm cool. Like, no, I think I'm okay on that. And then you're just making your mind up. You're making everybody's mind up. It's selfish. And I really do feel like you owe it not just to that person, but you owe it to yourself to really express yourself on that kind of level. Just had a conversation, please. I implore you to have a conversation. But I had to speak on that because I keep seeing, things like that, these memes, these posts on Twitter, and they're getting a bunch of likes. And that can fool a lot of people. A lot of people who are on the fence about certain things and they can't think for themselves, they'll start to look at numbers. And they're like, well, the numbers got it, 20,000 likes. And, that's just 20,000 people that don't know any better. That's all. I mean, shit, 16,000 people bought the Babies album. Like, what are we talking about? We'll get into that later. We'll get into that, toward the end of the show. We talk about that. But numbers aren't everything, man. Think for yourself. Communicate like an adult. It's okay to feel feelings. It's okay to be vulnerable. Just make sure that when you learn that lesson in that moment that you use something from that and, just apply it moving forward. But my pops used to always tell me, you don't let the way people treat you change how you naturally are. That's just not, it's not good at all. That's just my little 2 cents on it. You know what I mean? So if you're one of those people out there that's thinking about ghosting, come on now, listen to the big homie. This is me. It's the big hairline talking to you. You know what I mean? Just if you value anything I say, man, please, And even in that same vein, right? People have this stigma about taking advice from those who have failed or not necessarily reached the level that, they set out to. And when you're young, that sounds like, yeah, why would I take advice from this person if they couldn't do it? Now, there was a guy on my old job, one of my old jobs, and he used to always brag about how he had never made a mistake in whatever position it was, that he used to do. Never made a mistake, never ran into that problem, never did this. And a lot of people used to be impressed by that. But me, I was like, I'm not sure that this guy can teach me anything. Because he doesn't know what it's like to have a bad day, or like you don't know what it's like to run into a problem that make you feel like, yo, I'm about to quit this shit. Like, once you go through things like that, you learn very valuable lessons that success can't teach you. Failure will teach you a lot more than success. Like in some cases, it definitely will. if you got a new hire and they come across a problem, if you've never come across a problem before, how you gonna know? You don't even know what they're going through in that moment. You don't even know the emotions that they're processing in that moment because you've never had, first of all, I think it's a lie. That's number one. Let's get that out the way. But second, even if it is the truth, that's not the flex you think it is. Never making a mistake is not the flex you think it is, man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a different type of motivation that comes with, I did bad on this day, or I made a mistake right here. Let me work this problem backwards and see how to avoid this in the future. Now you can teach people. Now you can take preventative measure the next time, and you won't have to be reactive. You can be proactive because you already did it. What Jay-Z said, Hov did that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's a great teacher. But on social media, I get it. Everybody's perfect. Everybody got it right on the first try. Everybody, it's just it's the biggest shit ever. It's the best shit ever. It's perfect all the time, always. Nobody posts the losses. You know what I mean? All of that type of stuff is true. But just don't shun somebody just because they might have failed or they may not be as successful as you think they should be or whatever, right? Like, this conversation just came up recently where LL addressed it about the hip hop pioneers. You can't look at what they have and what they don't have compared to what the new school has and, just invalidate their opinion on things. Nah, they've been through it. Those are probably going to be some of your best, resources when it comes to how you navigate, how you move around. So I don't think people should be so quick to just write those off just because they might have failed. You understand? Like, most of the people that are successful, they probably failed 90 times before they got that one thing right. And the only difference is they just didn't quit. That's really what it is. They just didn't quit. Oh, this thing I was excited about, this thing that I, got into, it didn't work. Cool, let me do something else. The key here is to take something from each one of these situations. You fail in this area, take something with you. You from round the way, right? You got to leave here with something. Leave here with a gem at least. You got to leave with something. That's the key when it comes to failure or coming up short, whatever. A lot of people have different definitions of failure. If you didn't reach a certain dollar amount, if you don't reach a certain amount of views, if you don't, it's whatever. But again, I just don't think you should shun people who failed. You see, shit. Crackheads will give you some of the greatest life advice. I think you might want to listen to a dude that smoked crack before, bro. It's a brave guy. I'm not that brave. I'm always willing to listen to somebody braver than me, man. Hey, let me hear what you got to say, sir. You know what I mean? And, I come from Detroit, Michigan. You know what I mean? East side and west side. So, I've come across my fair share of street philosophers who were into a certain, recreational drug. For them, it was recreational. It wasn't just, you ain't just not just pulling up to the the cookout smoking crack. I hope not, at least. But yeah, man, just cut people a break, man. Be nice. You know what I mean? Somebody fell, ask them how. How did it happen? You may be on the brink of failing right now, but you don't see the signs coming. But maybe they can tell you. Maybe they can point you in the right direction and say, hey, before this goes left, hey, maybe you should try this. Because I tried this the last time and it didn't work. Let me help you out. Just something to think about, man. That's all. Just a little bit. Let's get into some sports. Man. Happy birthday to Kevin Durant. We're recording this on Thursday. He turned 34 years old. And it's always so wild to me when I look at these players who are my age and younger that are doing all these amazing things in the NBA. Like, KD is a top 75 player, arguably top 50. One of the greatest talents we've ever seen ever. And I think he changed the way that athletes are viewed on Twitter as well. Because, like, he made it, he's single-handedly making it cool to just be one of the guys on Twitter, right? Like, he's interacting with the people that we know. He's interacting with some of us personally. And he's responding to these comments. Too long it's been going on where athletes are just, like, forced to read the comments and still just tweet through it and, hey, guys, we had a great game today, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the next game. And meanwhile, their mentions are full of, like, nigga, you ain't shit. How you missed that layup? Your bum ass, you got locked up over there. Like, you went 0 for 14. Nah, KD's like, let's talk then. If you really was that brave to come at me and say something, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And usually it ends in people being like, nah, bro, I fuck with you. I would just, yeah, I know. You ain't expect to see that that check in your mentions. You know what I mean? You see that check, you see the name behind it. You like, oh, the heart get the, you know what I mean? You know how it sound when you get shot on Call of Duty? Like, you get the breathing different. You know what I'm saying? And all that. So, yeah, shout out to KD, man. Happy birthday to KD. I think my favorite KD performance is probably when he first got to Golden State in the finals. I remember where I was when he shot that 3 on Bron, bro. I was at the bar, mid-act, smack DBD, and I saw him walking down the court, and I was in my head, I was like probably a little more quiet than I actually was, but I was like, oh, he about to, and as soon as he hit that shot, it was like the Mike Breen and everybody came out. It was just bang. That shit was that was it. It was a Diamond Dallas Page type of, like one of them type of joints. So shout out to KD, man. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it with basketball in the NBA. Shout out to Zion. Zion is back. Zion is back. And I'm happy because his weight was an issue as it pertained to like injuries and, you know, and you started to see this and you remember players like Yao Ming who had foot problems, you know, so his height and his weight just kind of, you know, compounded that. And it was just like, well, we won't see what he's going to turn into, you know. And so to see this with a young player who was visibly like, hey, hold on, he a little, you know what I mean? Couple sandwiches here and there, couple pots of gumbo and all that. Hold on. But he's a young kid. He's a young kid, you know. He showed up here, media day for the Pelicans, looking slim, action figure-esque and all that. He ready. I'm going to just predict something calm for Zion. Something calm, nothing too crazy on the stat line. I'm going to say he might average something like, this is just off how he showed up looking. I'm going to say a calm 38 points, 19 rebounds, and like 21 get the fuck out of here as a game. I'm gonna predict that for him. Because in the league where a lot of teams run small ball, I mean, good luck to you out there with Zion and you running that small ball lineup and he out there snatching shit off the rim and dunking it back. Listen, this shit gonna look like NBA Jam all over again. Nets gonna be on fire and all that, the way he showed up. And the Pelicans were kind of fun last season. Not if you were a gambler. If you were a gambler and you were betting against the Pelicans, they sent you to bed sad many nights because they were scrappy. It's one of those scrappy teams, man. Sneaky, athletic, and all that. All the type of stuff they like to say. I don't even want to really get into that too much because, man, it was so many nights where all I needed was the Lakers to just cover this point spread on the Pelicans. And CJ McCollum was like, nope. I think I'm going to just go for 30 tonight. Fuck it. I saw your ticket. I don't care. So, you know, it is what it is on that. Shout out to Zion. I'm happy for him. Happy for the Pelicans fans. You know what I'm saying? All like 21 of them. It might be more now though. They're gonna turn up this season for sure. So shout out to Zion, man, for real. But I did say earlier we're gonna get into this. Your man, DaBaby, right? I want to say his last album. I saw the numbers out there. I think he sold something like 120K the first week. You know, successful project, right? This one is set to sell 16K. And he's saying that he's been blackballed. Now, the last project was 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Since 2020, DaBaby's name has been in the news cycle almost every week. None of it's been good. None of it. Like, at all. When you have Elton John and Madonna talking about you, most people would think, yeah, if Elton John and Madonna are talking about me, I'm big shit. But all press is not good press. That's Elton John, bro. That's Madonna. When they start talking like, hey, you maybe not the guy that, you know, to rock with, people listen. Companies listen. It sends out a huge wave. And so for him to think that your last project where you had Megan Thee Stallion featured on it, this time around, you have a Meg Thee Stallion lookalike as you're telling the world that you had sex with her. And then in the same song, he said he kept it player and didn't tell nobody, as he was telling us. Do you understand how that works? Like, do you really understand how that works? Imagine you get caught with your homeboy, and y'all talking to the cops, and he's like, look, I wasn't even gonna tell y'all he had 2 bricks in the trunk. That's not the type of dude I am. I would never do nothing like that, ever. You can never say I told y'all it was 2 bricks right there under that sweat. That's just not me. Imagine that. How does that work? Math ain't mathing, man. That 16K is generous. Because I'm surprised that many people still care, to be honest. Between the stuff on Rolling Loud and, it's a lot. The Danny Lay situation, like, it's just a lot, man. It's really a lot. So you take that 16K and be happy, man. Seriously, because next time it might not be 6. I don't know. We'll see how that go. Shout out to Big Boy of Outkast. Listen, man, you got to know that Outkast money is very long, because Outkast is Outkast. It's just they've been around forever. We talked about Martin, top of the show. They were on Martin. They performed on Martin. Like, these guys are legends. But this man, Big Boy, is on social media showing off his collection of pet owls. I don't mean like he has a couple OVO sweaters, t-shirts. No, I mean like actual owls with names and feathers and eyes and all that. Like, he's showing them off and he's talking to them, and they got personalities, and they're kind of communicating back with him a little bit. Niggas got owl money. That's different. Owl money is different. You might have money to buy the Bentley and the Phantom this and the next year car that. Owls? I don't even know who to call to get in touch with to be like, yo, point me in the direction of the best owls. Shout out to Big Boy. That shit is crazy. Like, Ghostface had the big, eagle on his wrist, the jewelry. This man got real owls. This is insane. Like, that's the type of shit that I want to be able to flex about when you get older, to be like, yeah, I got a couple owls at the crib. That's the type of shit to make a nigga turn the radio down. Like, you got a couple who? Nah, what you mean by that? What you talking about, my boy? Oh, no, I'll show you when we get there. And you pull up and it's, you walk in, there's feathers already on the ground and shit, and you like, oh, all right, maybe this nigga wasn't lying. But then he show you 4 or 5 owls. Shit is just different. What does the maintenance on owls look like? You know what I'm saying? It's not just about getting the owl. It's not just about buying the Benz. Can you afford to change the oil in that motherfucker? Can you afford to get new tires on that motherfucker? What it costs to maintain an owl? Just one. He got like 4. Shout out to Big Boy, man. Spend some Outkast today, because I damn sure am. Because that's motivational. For me, personally, it's motivational. Yeah, shout out to Outkast. Shout out to everybody who tuned in to episode 1. Shout out to all the feedback. Shout out to, all of the compliments. It's greatly appreciated. It will motivate me to keep doing these. Keep on tapping in with y'all. As usual, the link will be in the description for the Instagram, for Twitter, for, you can listen to this on Apple, listen to it on Spotify. You can even watch it on YouTube. I put some clips out and I was like, you know what? Let me just test the waters. Let me see what's going on. See how the people reacting to it. Put the clips out. You guys responded amazingly. Put the full episode up. You guys are responding to that as well. So these episodes will continue to drop. Continue to, check in for the show. And by the time you guys get this episode, actually, you will have new Rome Streets. I think I talked about this last week on episode 1. You'll have new Rome Streets will be out. Freddie Gibbs will be out. And next week, I will be reviewing both of those albums. So make sure you tune in for that. In the meantime, you can hit the email up, allfortheloveshow@gmail.com. That's if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that. Even if you would like quote your favorite Martin episode, whatever, just hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Till next time, I'm out, man.